Mame Jawa, and then Rob Bowersox. That's what I have on my list. So,
I'm a former middle and high school teacher with a master's degree in curriculum and instruction. From childhood, I was often singled out as different. Classmates asked me probing, sometimes absurd questions about my religion to tease me. Multiple middle and high school teachers called me out by name in front of the entire class to mock my beliefs. As a 16-year-old, I pulled up late to church one Sunday morning, and as the only person in the parking lot, I was the sole target of a picketer with a large sign shouting threats and demeaning accusations at me. As an adult, I sat through an application interview where my future employer asked me detailed questions about my religious practices and if my beliefs would be a problem were I to be offered the position, which was totally illegal. Over the years, I have been the butt of many jokes by coworkers and even friends. But my story is not uncommon. The justification for adding gender ideology into the health curriculum is typically that we want to help a marginalized group, transgender or gender nonconforming students, to be included, have visibility in the curriculum, help others become tolerant, and eliminate bullying. Wasn't I part of a marginalized group being bullied? Shouldn't I have been protected by the school? Shouldn't the school have created a curriculum to help me be more included and others be tolerant? Well, those are two different things, one might say. Your religious beliefs are a choice. Gender identity is not. Isn't it? I hear regularly that one's gender identity is fluid. It can change. One day a person might feel more like a girl, the other like neither, non-binary. There are no scientific or biological markers that would indicate one's gender identity. The only way to know one's gender identity is if one tells you. It's self-proclaimed and based on a strongly held internal feeling. That sounds awfully similar to how one's religious identity works. Can you imagine if I was similarly represented in the curriculum? We'd teach the great spectrum of religious identities, starting in kindergarten. Clever children's books could introduce them to all the options of religious identity. We wouldn't tell parents when those books were being read or those topics were being introduced. We debate whether parents should be allowed to opt out. And if the child of an atheist adopted a new identity, perhaps a Mormon, a Muslim, a Catholic, or a Jew, it would probably be best to conceal that from the parent. After all, if an atheist can't affirm their child's religious identity, that must not be a safe and loving home. And of course, we would pass the curriculum at the state level during COVID, in the summer, with as little parental involvement as possible. Does this sound familiar? Well, there's one significant difference. I can't think of a single religious identity that leads children to take life-altering hormones, puberty blockers, or undergo irreversible surgeries. And yet, I firmly believe public schools have no business teaching religious ideology to children, or any ideology for that matter. Thank you.